Hello everyone, as promised for the 2nd year anniversary of my channel, I'm bringing to you a video of all my Holy Grail products. And this is actually just a basics edition, so it will focus mostly on the face products and bare necessities that I use for my eyes and lips, but we're going to keep it as minimal as possible today, so let's get started with the face primers. As you guys know, I don't use primer every day. Mostly it's a special occasion thing for me unless I'm testing out a new product. So let's start with the matte primer since I do love this one. This is the Temptu Smooth and Matte Primer. And for those of you with very oily skin, this may not work as well for you because I only have combination to normal skin, so this does mattify my face relatively well. The next is a new primer. This is Laura Mercier's Radiance Primer, but it's so good that it's already on my Holy Grail list. A lot of you may be wondering what is the difference between this new Radiance Primer and the Illuminating Primer that she already makes, and the main difference is in the actual color of the primer. This one looks very much like skin. It's kind of a nude color. This one is very much similar to the Benefit Porefessional, which I have here. The Benefit one is a more neutral color and feels more like a balm, whereas this one feels more like a moisturizer. I use the Temptu usually with liquid foundations, the Laura Mercier Radiance Primer with mostly powder foundations, and the Benefit for whenever I need to cover the pores around here. The powder foundations that I wear the most are the Clé de Peau with SPF of 23 or 24 I believe, and the Dolce & Gabbana, which I use on nights out. The Clé de Peau powder foundation is the most natural looking powder foundation I've ever used. It's natural going on, and it's natural throughout the day, and it lasts for at least 8 hours. I actually find that this color, even though it's OC2, which is meant for yellow tone skins, runs a little orange, but after a few hours it melds in with your skin's natural oils, so it looks okay. As long as you moisturize well enough, it doesn't accentuate dry patches, and it just looks like your real skin, which is amazing because it's a powder. Unlike other powder foundations, which tend to look really natural when first on and then make me look oily later on during the day, like Chanel's Double Perfection, this one just looks natural all day long. I like to use the Dolce & Gabbana on nights out because it fits my skin color perfectly. I think this is the best match for my skin that I've ever found, especially in a powder. And it has just enough of a yellow undertone, which this is around NC30. This powder foundation, even though it doesn't have SPF, is better for those who want or prefer heavier coverage. So the Clé de Peau is more along the lines of medium to full if you really wanted to pack it on, but this gives you full coverage really easily, especially if you use the sponge enclosed or use a really dense powder brush. Now for the loose powders. My favorite loose powder that is slightly shimmery is the La Mer, the powder, and I use this in number 3. I like this better than Chanel's loose powder or any other loose powder because it doesn't have too much pink in it. It just brightens up my face and it smooths over any imperfections, plus the puff that it comes with is really soft. And you get a very generous 25 grams, so this will take you quite a while to finish. For a matte loose powder, I always reach for my Bobbi Brown Sheer Finish Loose Powder in Pale Yellow. And even if you're not pale, you can still wear this as long as you use just a touch. You get 7.5 grams with this, which is significantly less than the La Mer, but I only use this in the summer because in the winter it kind of dries out my skin a little. But for super hot, humid climates, this is going to be your best friend. Now for my pressed powders. Sometimes I'm just too lazy to reach for a loose powder and I will go with one of my pressed powders. I really love the Guerlain Meteorites, but I'm always in between shades. Unless I'm really tan, number 3 is too dark and too red against my skin tone. It doesn't read as true to color on camera because it looks a little bit more beige than red, but in person it is very red. Number 2 is a neutral perfect beige for me, but it's just a touch too light. I'm naturally fair, so this would be a great color for me if I didn't have a tan whatsoever. But unfortunately, I do still have one, so that's where I turn to my Lancome Translucent Mattifying Silky Pressed Powder. All of these pressed powders, by the way, are mattifying, but they don't make you look like you have that doll-faced, totally matte complexion. 350 Bisque is the perfect color for me right now, but this is awesome for the price. It's significantly cheaper than the Guerlain Meteorites, but it works, and I highly recommend this. Now for bronzers. As you guys know, I love my Dolce & Gabbana, the blush in tan. And yes, it's a blush, but I use it as a contour powder. It's perfect because it's not too orange at all. In fact, it's actually a little ashy when you first open it, and so it looks a little scary, but once you get used to it, it's the perfect contour. But I'm not wearing it today because I just filmed this Lancome Spring 2012 tutorial, and I wanted to mix it up and not use this. So I highly recommend this, and I cannot live without it. It's one of my must-have products. Now, for some reason, if I'm craving a slightly more shimmery bronzer, I never wear completely shimmery bronzer because I just think it looks rather unnatural, but this is a satin finish bronzer by Edward Bess. It's called Daydream, and he recently repackaged this so it no longer comes in this circular compact, which I actually prefer. And it is very natural looking on the face, especially if you're around my skin tone. So I highly recommend this for those of you who don't want a completely matte bronzer or a contour powder. Now this little terracotta mineral bronzer by Guerlain has a special place in my heart because it's a loose bronzer. The first loose bronzer that I've ever tried was Laura Mercier's, which I also love, but it's a little metallic in finish, especially if you use too much. Whereas this one is a very natural matte finish, but it's so silky that it doesn't look completely matte. It almost has a satiny touch. And there is a brush that comes with this. I just don't use it. I use a duo fiber, tap it into the mesh, and then sweep it across. But it's a great color, and I think that out of all the Guerlain bronzers, these are the least orange. So I highly recommend this if you are willing to put up with the inconvenience of using a loose bronzer. Now for my favorite tinted moisturizer. This is Le Métier de Beauté's Peau Vierge Anti-Aging Complex in shade number 2. I used this recently in my everyday makeup tutorial because I love it that much. And yes, I wear this pretty often. If I'm not wearing powder foundation, if I feel like using a liquid or a treatment that day, I'll use this and set it with a little bit of loose powder. The shades jump a lot in this. So number 1 is really light, 2 is the most universal color of the 3, and 3 is just super dark. Be warned though that this looks a little shimmery on the hands, but for some reason on the face it doesn't look shimmery at all. So don't be scared when you first swatch this. Also, the main reason why I love this is that it's moisturizing, but it never makes me look oily. It's very impressive. I also use the coordinating corrector, which is essentially a concealer. And this is heavy duty coverage. I've already reviewed it on my blog, and I use this underneath the eyes, of course. And I don't use it every day because it's very complete in coverage. And most of the times I use it when I have really dark circles or if I'm going out. If I choose to wear concealer, because I don't wear concealer every day, I'll use the Lancome Regenery Eye Multiple Action Concealer. And I actually only got this recently, but I love it so much that I wanted to put it in this video. So this one lasts relatively well throughout the day, even though it's extremely lightweight for a concealer, and it actually brightens up my eyes very much so like a highlighter, and that's why I love this product so much. Plus it comes with an eye cream underneath, which is really dense, so I only use a little and it works perfectly with the concealer. Now for blemishes. I always return to Laura Mercier's Secret Camouflage Concealer, and this one comes with 2 different colors. And I bought this in the summer when I was tan, so I would actually be using SC3 right now. This is SC4. And you can mix both of the colors to create a specific color for whichever blemishes you need to hide, but I'm using this side mostly. Just make sure you warm this product up somehow with your fingertips or on the back of your hand, whichever method you prefer, because it is a little dry. So you do want to provide some heat for the product to really meld into the skin. Now for eye primers. I love the NARS Pro Prime Smudge Proof Base, and at first I really didn't like this product that much, but the more I use it, the more I like it. It's a great everyday eyeshadow primer. And for any glittery eyeshadows, the Too Faced Shadow Insurance Glitter Glue is the best. I'm actually not a big fan of Too Faced, but I cannot live without this primer. It's truly the best for glitter bonding or loose shadows. It really intensifies the color. Just be warned though, you cannot use this with regular eyeshadows. It'll make them look clumpy and streaky and patchy, so only for high glitter content or loose shadows, okay guys? Now for the one tool in this video. This is my Shu Uemura Lash Curler. And I've tried dozens of different lash curlers, especially after Shu pulled out of the US officially. I tried Trish McEvoy, Shiseido, Le Métier. They just don't seem to work for me that well. The Shiseido comes the closest, but nothing beats the Shu. And I always curl my lashes in 3 sections, so at very close to the root, in the middle, and at the tips. Now for my eyebrows. Now that my eyebrows are thin again, I've been liking the powder, and this is the only matte gray that I can seem to find that works for my eyebrows. This is Lancome's Color Design Ciel de Soir Matte Eyeshadow, and I've been using it with my Suku eyebrow brush. This is a small one. Right now, I prefer the Shiseido Natural Brow Pencil in Natural Black, just because my brows are thinner, so it's hard for me to get even coverage sometimes, especially because my eyebrows are really patchy. But when my brows are a little fuller, I definitely prefer the Shu Uemura Hard 9. That is my final say. Now for mascara. All of you know that my holy grail mascara by now, alright, at least I hope you know, is Lancome's Hypnous Drama Waterproof. And nothing beats this mascara for me because it gives me volume, lash curl hold, it comes off relatively easily, it's not like trying to rip off a fiber mascara, and it separates, gives me length, it's just perfect, and it's not even over $30. The only mascara that comes close, in my opinion, would be the Giorgio Armani Eyes to Kill Waterproof Mascara. I really love the brown color, which is a limited edition. This one is brown, but I like the brush because it's flat. It's unlike most mascara wands, so I really like that. The Lancome Hypnous Drama, on the other hand, is a little scary to some people because it has that curved S shape, but once you get used to it, it really coats your lashes well. Now for eyeliners. I use the Lancome Art Liner in almost every video, so I would assume that you guys know this is my holy grail by now. I talk about this product all the time. It is the best eyeliner, and nothing comes close to it. Next for my pencil, I tried not to include any limited editions in this video just because I want all of you to be able to purchase these items in case you want them. But this Giorgio Armani waterproof pencil, which is a limited edition and only came out in the spring and then the previous winter before that, is hard to find. This is the only truly waterproof black eyeliner on me, and it lasts all day. It's really hard to take this stuff off, actually. So if you have oily lids, definitely keep out on the lookout for this because this is a great investment. And speaking of oily lids, the best, in my opinion, cream liner for oily lids, Beyond Max Fluid Line, Beyond Bobbi Brown's gel liner, is the YSL eyeliner Ifeifo C in deep black. And I use this on my best friend who has monolids and slightly oily lids, and it doesn't crease on her, it doesn't smear or smudge, it stays put on my waterline, although it's a little drying in my waterline, so I don't highly recommend it for that, but if you have very oily lids, this is going to be a godsend for you. It is also a truly deep black. And last but not least, my basic lip products. My holy grail formula for the lips is Tom Ford's lipsticks, and these are a semi-matte, but they're pretty moisturizing and they never make my lips peel, so I love these. If this is a little too much for you, I highly recommend the Lancome Absolute lipsticks. This is an Absolute Nude. It was hard for me to choose just one gloss to feature in this video, but I just picked the gloss that I've been wearing the most these days. But my favorite is First Kiss, which looks really bright, but on my lips it just really brings out the pink in them, and Bare Rose, which is more like a neutral rose color. I've reviewed these on my blog, but every time I wear this in a video, I actually get asked questions about it, even though I do list all the products down below in the description box. It really does make a difference, and for gloss, I feel like it should be long-lasting, it should plump up your lips even though there's no plumper in it. It's supposed to give you the illusion of fuller lips, and that's what this does. And that completes my Holy Grail Products Basics Edition first look. And next time, I'll do all the color products like eyeshadows, blushes, highlighters, and lip colors. So thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye.